You said something today.
Morning.
Maybe it was morning to a stranger. Maybe it was your kid's name. Maybe it was just, ooh. You didn't think about it. You never do. But somewhere, hundreds of thousands of years ago, a human opened their mouth, and for the very first time in the history of life on Earth, a word came out. Not a grunt, not a shriek, a word.
Hello.
And here's the thing that nobody tells you. We have no idea what it was. Language isn't just communication. Animals communicate, bees communicate, your dog communicates. But we're getting closer, and what scientists have found, it's stranger, darker, and more human than you ever expected.
This is a breakthrough.
Language is symbolic. It means your brain can attach an arbitrary sound, like tree, to a concept, and then share that concept with another mind. No pointing, no showing. You're transmitting thoughts through vibrations. So when did that start? When did the first human brain do that trick? Here's where it gets uncomfortable. We can't go back and hear it. Sound doesn't fossilize. The first word is gone, completely, permanently, irretrievably gone. Every linguist, every anthropologist, every evolutionary biologist knows this. The trail goes cold before writing, before cave paintings, before anything we can touch. But cold doesn't mean dead. Around 300,000 years ago, Homo sapiens appeared in Africa. But the physical equipment for language, the descended larynx, the flexible tongue, the neural wiring for speech, may have started developing even earlier, in our ancestors like Homo heidelbergensis. There's a tiny bone called the hyoid. It sits in your throat, right here, and it anchors your tongue muscles. It's the only throat bone that survives in the fossil record. And when scientists found a Neanderthal hyoid, a species that split from our lineage 600,000 years ago, it was shaped exactly like yours, exactly like mine, shaped for speech. Neanderthals could talk. That revelation hit the scientific community hard, because it pushed the origin of language back further than anyone was comfortable with. But here's the deeper problem. Having the hardware doesn't mean you have the software. Language lives in the brain, and brains don't fossilize well, but skulls do. Scientists have found ancient skulls with impressions of Broca's area, the part of your brain right now that's processing these words, enlarged and active looking as far back as 2 million years in early Homo species. 2 million years. Think of it like this. You don't build a highway in a day. First there's a dirt path, then gravel, then pavement. Language didn't flip on like a switch, it grew. And the most likely candidate for what started that growth, death. That language didn't start with naming things. Rock, tree, water. That's too abstract for a first step. Language started with social bonding, specifically with grief. When a group member died in early human societies, something had to hold the group together. Grooming, physical touch, was the primate way. But as groups got bigger, you can't groom 150 people. You can't touch everyone who's hurting. But you can make a sound. You can sit with someone and produce a low, rhythmic vocalization that signals, I am here. You are not alone. That sound, repeated, refined, attached to meaning over generations, that may be where words began. The first human word might not have been fire or food or danger. It might have been something like together.
Together.
By comparing the deepest roots of the world's oldest living language families, researchers have found certain sounds that appear everywhere, across continents, across cultures that never met. Sounds like ma, like ba, like aka. Ma for mother. Some version of it appears in over 700 languages. Mandarin, mama. Arabic, mama. Swahili, mama. English, mama. Hawaiian, makwahin. Ma is in there. Coincidence? Unlikely. These may be the oldest linguistic fossils we have. Not words preserved in stone, but words preserved in mouths. passed down in an unbroken chain of human voices for possibly 100,000 years. Think about that. When you call out for your mother, you might be making the same sound a human made before the last ice age. The question "what was the first word" assumes there was a first word, one moment, one utterance. There wasn't. Language didn't happen. Language emerged. It's a process that's still happening right now. Every generation adds words. Every year, hundreds of new words enter the dictionary. Slang becomes standard. Sounds become symbols. The boundary between animal vocalization and human language isn't a wall, it's a fog. Which means there is no first word. There's just the long, slow, unstoppable human project of trying to reach each other. This right? And that project started with you too, not metaphorically. If you only had one word, and that word had to carry everything that made you human, what would it be?